welcome to your Conscious Choices for Wellness podcast, hosted by B. Crutelli. This is a space for everyone to learn anything and everything related to healthy healing, including naturopathic medicine, music, dance, yoga, meditation, eco-fashion, mothering, and organic lifestyle choices. Topics for expanding universal consciousness. Come join me weekly as we delve in and begin this journey, sharing valuable content gathered over the past 3 decades, helping to support a healthier and more sustainable future for all. Hello and welcome to today's podcast on Aging Gracefully. Aging Gracefully in 2025. Yes, we still all want this. And what are the reasons? Why do we think about aging? What are your thoughts on aging? My feeling from what I've seen in my 50 years here on planet Earth, especially, I guess you don't really think about aging too much in your younger years, but let's say in the last decade, I think once you start getting closer to 40, most of us start thinking about our aging process because of the way we're feeling differently, maybe the way our body is changing. We're seeing a few wrinkles, gray hair, whatever starts happening towards the age of 40. So I wanted to talk about this. I did a presentation at my previous job that never got published, but then I tried to publish it out last year a little bit. It was kind of just I didn't do it on Canva. What did I do it on? Maybe it was Canva actually, called Aging Gracefully. And I liked that name. I kind of like the way that flows. It's kind of a nice sounding, I think we all want to age gracefully. And how do we do this? So as I was typing my blog to do this podcast, I realized that there's so much content to be talked about, and I'd like to keep my podcasts relatively, not too lengthy. So I am making this a 3-part segment. One is today, part 1, pain, wrinkles, and our choices for what's next. And I will go on to talk about this in 2 more segments in the coming weeks. So today we're going to delve in and talk about a few nutrients that are key to helping us and more. Thank you for joining me, and let's get started. So a few years ago is when I really started feeling my age. I'm saying a few. It was about 5 years ago. It was really drastically kind of, whoa, like I need to really work harder to exercise more if I'm going to try to keep this shape that I've had, keep toned, keep this yoga body that I've had for years. And honestly, I think I'm an honest person, so you'll always hear me say that. I have not kept that yoga body. I have not been exercising more than I was. I'm definitely, maybe I am exercising more, but I'm probably not doing as much yoga as I was 5 to 10 years ago and beyond. It definitely does start changing, y'all. If you're not 40 or 45 yet, you're going to see, and I'm sure you've heard and So I felt in my body, not only my quote unquote yoga body, and I'm not just saying that, I was just, had did yoga for years and people would tell me, you have this yoga body, whatever. So not only was that starting to, be noticeably different, but I also felt chronic pain setting in that I had to deal with. And chronic pain is chronic inflammation that can last a lifetime if it's not managed. There are many causes. Each individual is unique. Some of us suffer from physical injuries or nutrient deficiencies. while others are struggling with emotional traumas that get stuck in the body on a cellular level. These effects run deep within, but can be healed with proper care. Our bodies are miraculous structures that, if given the support it needs, it meaning our body, can and will heal without invasive and toxic choices. Natural is always best in the long run. That's my motto, since I'm very much a naturalist. I always my go-to is natural remedies for everything. Even today, I was feeling more pain than I was yesterday. And there were probably reasons for that I had to look at. But I did not resort to a remedy that was not natural. I could have like asked someone if they had an ibuprofen, or maybe I could find some in my car that someone had given me. I don't know. I was, trying to use alternative remedies is always what I do. And it worked. My pain was diminished by using ice, some meditation, some gentle stretching, breath work, cannabis. I used a little cannabis, not by smoking it. I try not to smoke it, but I had a little bit of one of my chocolates that I made, which is very mild, but it really did help the pain. These things that I did, because it was pretty bad when I got up. And I have chronic pain. If you want to know why I have chronic pain, my chronic pain is from moving. That's probably the main reason. I used to think, when I had pain setting in, 5 years ago or so, that it was from having my kids, I had too many kids, and it really did affect my body. And because, I have a couple of girlfriends that don't really struggle with pain, and they don't have kids, and they're my age. And it could be, kids do take a lot out of their mothers' bodies. And if you're not readily replenishing those nutrients that are, sucked out of your body when you're pregnant and breastfeeding, then you can get depleted, and it can cause certain things to change in your body. And I was trying, to do my best at the time in my 20s, but I didn't know a whole lot. I knew some things. That's when I was starting to learn about the things that I know now. So that may have definitely played a role in my early years, having, 3 kids in my early to mid 20s, and then having another child at age 34. And by age 34, I knew a lot more than I did when I was 24. So I was probably better off nutritionally. But nonetheless, I had a life of moving over and over and over. And so moving is very stressful, and it's very taxing on the body, right? So I live in Northern California, and I have never been able to buy a home. I didn't think it was that important in my younger years. Neither did my husband at the time. And I was never, I can't say never. There was one time in my life where I was in a position where I could have bought a home. Well, I almost could have. I had enough money for a down payment, let's say. And yet, with that money I had for a down payment, I talked to a lender, but then I didn't necessarily have the income still coming in. This was after I sold a business that I had. And then I didn't really have, I didn't have the continuous income coming in to show, the lender that, yes, I have a down payment, but yes, I also have income that's going to keep streaming in, for months and years that I can pay my mortgage. So I pretty sure that's the reason why I did not do it. Even though I would have had income coming in, eventually, I think it all would have worked out. I was not able to buy a home at that time. And that was about 10 years ago. And so, different circumstances, for whatever reasons, I'm not going to get into that today. I have had to move pretty much every year. And there, have been a few times in my life where I lived someplace maybe 2 years. One place was over 4 years, and that was in my early 20s. But besides that, it's been an average now of about every year. And so that stemming with a few car accidents, having 4 children that I carried full-term pregnancies and breastfed for a total of 7 years of my life, combined with just getting older, has caused me to fall into some pretty, chronic pain that I deal with on a regular basis. And my journey, one of the things that I want to do, I want to help other women or men with their chronic pain and advocate for them in a way of, the things that have helped me, and to share that with others, because I have found some things that really help. And I know there's a lot of people out there with chronic pain and that are struggling with this. And it doesn't matter what kind of chronic pain that you're dealing with. There is definitely ways that can help you naturally, okay? Not to take drugs. And when I first started in this last kind of bout of this new chronic pain that happened about 3 years ago, I was in such bad pain that I actually did go to the doctor and started physical therapy and got a medication that I took 1 or 2 times. Like, I am totally anti medication, prescription drugs for a lot of reasons. And, because it's like you need to sleep, right? And it's like, if you can't sleep because it's so bad and you can't walk and it's, I mean, you know what I mean. If who feels it knows it. So that prescription got tossed, like 6 months, 12 months later, whenever I moved, because I never took it. And I didn't really need it anymore. I found ways that I could manage it. And so it comes and it goes. And it's kind of something that I feel like I'm just dealing with. And it's, I feel like I'm getting on this whole pain topic now. So I'm going to go back to talking about things that will help us as we age. Okay. A lot of us start feeling pain. We have emotional traumas that get stuck in our body on a cellular level. That's another thing. I notice that if I get triggered by some emotional trauma that is triggered in, deep within my subconscious being, that my pain will strike up, that it gets, aggravated. There's different emotions that get stuck in different places of our body, different feelings that we have. And there's so much information about this now out there. And I'm so grateful for that a lot of people are becoming aware of this. Our bodies are miraculous, okay? And they can heal themselves. So when I was a diligent vegetarian vegan for over 20 years, I knew that it was going to be essential for me to watch my healthy food combining in order to receive all my aminos. Okay, aminos, amino acids, right? That was a tough trek at times. And I finally realized when I began struggling with my own health at times that I needed more nutritional support. And this was when I was, my late 30s, when I was almost 40 years old. I decided, I think I might have to actually try eating some quality meat. This was stemming from my inadequate intake of some important essential aminos and too many carbs. Okay. And the main problem that I was having was with candida outbreaks, which I don't get anymore, but I was getting them quite a bit for a time. And I think my body just really needed some like high quality protein. So that's why I made the switch, knowing what I did about nutrition and health. I couldn't take it anymore. There were a lot of things I liked about being a vegetarian, and I was a vegan, a raw foodist during part of that time too. This was like literally, I didn't eat red meat for 24 years, maybe 25 years. I don't know. It was somewhere around 25 years. And I didn't eat any meat at all, including fish, chicken, any meat at all for 20 years. So that I think was just starting to finally take a toll on my body. This was about, 5 years after having my last child, getting a lot of candida outbreaks, going on these candida diets and cleanses all the time. And all of them tell you to eat animal protein. So I was like starving myself. And I'm not somebody that can really like lose weight, like I need to keep any fat that I have. So I was like, okay, it's time. I need to, try to change my diet. And I did. And I don't eat meat hardly at all, and I will never eat pork. I still haven't eaten pork since I was like 15 or 16 years old. No desire there. And I eat quality grass-fed animal protein about once or twice a week and try to do bone broth regularly too. So speaking of bone broth, glycine is an amino acid that is found in bone broth. I touch on it on one of my first podcasts. Glycine is a simple, small, non-essential amino acid, one of the key team players of protein synthesis. This amino plays a key role in maintaining a healthy central nervous system. It is considered one of the most important inhibitory neurotransmitters in the central nervous system, particularly in the brainstem and spinal cord. Studies show glycine can help improve memory retrieval in individuals with wide variety of sleep-depriving conditions such as jet lag and exhaustion. This intriguing supplement does quite a lot for a nominal daily monthly cost. I think that the glycine supplement I have, which I try to take daily, although I didn't take it today. Well, it's not that late yet, but I usually take it in the afternoon, it seems like, and it doesn't really make me tired. But I just know that it's important, and it's not that expensive. It's maybe like $30 a month or something like that. But it does so many things. So that's why I'm talking about it here, because it's a very important amino. Many reports are stating that the quantity of glycine produced in our bodies and animals tested are insufficient. Shortage of glycine in small quantities is not harmful for health, but severe shortage may lead to failure of immune response, low growth, abnormal nutrient metabolism, and undesirable effects on health. Therefore, glycine is considered as a conditionally essential amino acid for humans and other mammals to enhance good growth. In case of birds, glycine is very essential requirement for neonatal and fetal growth because neonates and fetuses cannot produce adequate glycine to meet required metabolic activities. Glycine has an amazing calming effect in the brain, which helps promote sleep. It diffuses through the blood-brain barrier, acting primarily on NMDA receptors. These actions are thought to help inhibit muscle activity during the REM stages of sleep and lower the core body temperatures, resulting in deeper, more restful sleep. In addition, glycine benefits a reduction in skin wrinkles and suppresses UVB-induced skin damage and photoaging. Primarily found in the muscles, the skin, and other connective tissues. Approximately 30% of collagen is composed of glycine. And we all know how important collagen is, right? Another reason to drink quality bone broth. Other food sources are fatty fish, poultry skin, mostly found in connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, skin, cartilage, and bones of animals. Fermented dairy, watercress, asparagus, spinach, and cabbage, non-GMO soybeans and tofu, organic peanuts, peas, mung beans, lentils, and kidney beans. Seaweed is also rich in glycine, as well as a great source of antioxidants, fiber to support your gut health, and iodine to support a healthy thyroid. Glycine has also been known to help in the treatment of serious mental health issues. This may be related to calming effects on the brain, which helps with chronic overthinking as well as aiding in the CNS health. CNS is central nervous system. Other research shows that glycine helps reduce effects of a chronically low mood. So some of the endless benefits I'm going to just run over here are joint health. These are all the things that glycine can help with in your body. Your joints, building muscle mass, supporting mental health, regulating blood sugar, improving sleep. Our body uses it to make glutathione, which is our master antioxidant in the body. It may protect your liver from damage of alcohol. It helps build and rebuild the lining of the GI tract. It gives you more energy and fights fatigue. I know you're thinking, well, how does this help with sleep? Some nutrients can actually do that. That's why when I take it earlier in the day, it doesn't make me tired. It just, helps you to feel good. It fights the effects of stress and anxiety, protects your skin from signs of aging, may reduce homocysteine levels following high protein meals, reduces the risk of certain types of cancer. Okay, these are all things that have been researched, and I will put my references in the show notes. There are overwhelming reports supporting the role of supplementary glycine in prevention of many diseases and disorders, including cancer. Dietary supplementation from proper dose of glycine is effective in treating metabolic disorders in patients with cardiovascular diseases, several inflammatory diseases, obesity, cancers, and diabetes. Taken with food is best in the evening for support of sleeping deeper. Now, there is an interesting up-and-coming supplement hitting the marketplace. I actually was not surprised to hear about it, but I hadn't heard about it yet when I was at my previous job, which was probably about 8 months ago. I left that about 9 months ago now. I left that job, and that is a job that I had working in the supplement industry. So I hadn't heard about it, but I was only in that role where I would have heard about it very part-time, like once or twice a week, around people that I would have learned about it from. So I was not knowledgeable about it. And then I heard on a podcast, they were talking about it. And I looked into it myself. And so I thought it was noteworthy to talk about here in case some of you also haven't heard about it yet. So the recently discovered C15 sounds amazingly promising for slowing down the aging process. Our bodies are all cells. As our cells age from being abused and invaded over time, we also will feel and show signs of aging. As our cells become more fragile with age, we will feel less energized and more out of balance. And C15 is basically a short chain fatty acid. It's been newly discovered. It's a healthy saturated fat. Okay. Evidence supports that C15 is a critical nutrient our bodies need to sustain good health. Unlike omega-3s, which are polyunsaturated fatty acids, pentadecanoic acid is C15. Okay, pentadecanoic, I'm probably not saying that right. It's an odd chain saturated fatty acid that is present in trace levels in dairy fat and some meats. Now, when I looked it up, it looked like it's really quite prevalent in dairy fat, meaning certain cheeses, butter, milk, even, and we're talking like grass fed, high quality dairy. Then it's found a little bit in meat and some other foods, some types of plants in smaller amounts. Large prospective human cohort studies have shown that higher C15 blood concentrations are associated with lower risks of developing chronic disease. And more of this is in an article that I will link in the show notes. Nutritional C15 deficiencies can cause ferroptosis. Ferroptosis is a new form of cell death that results from iron accumulation and lipid peroxidation in the cells. It involves depletion in the antioxidant enzymes, resulting in lipid peroxidation and oxidative stress. Okay. So it's, anybody that's, interested in listening to this may have heard, or, health experts out there all know that antioxidants are key to good health, that we really need to up our antioxidant levels. They're like what's in superfoods, and superfoods are way more healthier and have way more nutrients and these antioxidants in them than just regular foods do. And, regular foods, I mean that, the foods that most people are used to. So for example, like hemp seeds are a superfood. Coconut oil can even be a superfood. Avocado can be a superfood. Certain fungi and certain fruits like camu berries and mangosteen fruit, Inca berries, acai, even pomegranate, there are a lot of like superfoods that have like a lot of antioxidants that can penetrate your cells and protect them from this lipid peroxidation and oxidative stress from basically free radicals from things that are damaging our cells, right? So this syndrome that happens is called cellular fragility syndrome. Okay, this is something that's being talked about a lot now, cellular fragility syndrome. Studies support that this syndrome may be impacting as many as 1 in 3 people globally now. Cellular fragility syndrome occurs when a person does not routinely get enough C15 via their diets or supplements. And when we don't get enough, our cell membrane of C15 levels hover near or below 0.2% of total fatty acids. This is considered low C15 levels. These low C15 levels can result in weakened cell membranes and increased lipid peroxidation. Okay, that's the attack from the free radicals, including in our red blood cells and liver cells. The fragile red blood cells are then engulfed by macrophages in our liver, which result in excess iron in the liver tissues. Lipid peroxidation and excess iron in the liver results in ferroptosis, which can spill over to affect our vessels, heart, pancreas, and brain. Aging is accelerated in cells, resulting in compromised metabolic, heart, and liver health, leading to diseases. So this is all linked. Everything in the body is working together. It's all linked. And it definitely sounds like something that could be happening to some of us and will definitely have a role in the aging process. So the solution sounds like making sure that we are consuming enough of this healthy saturated fat from high quality dairy. Granted, you aren't sensitive or have contrary belief to eating dairy. Like if you're vegan, I respect that. Or if you're allergic to certain dairy or all dairy or whatever, you can supplement C15. There are, I'm not sure if there's actually another company besides the one that discovered this fatty acid. They're called Fatty 15. So that would be an option. They have their proprietary C15 supplement pill, and I'll put a link in the show notes. And I think it's like $50 a month, though. It's not, it's a little more expensive of a supplement. But if you can afford it, definitely worth to add to your repertoire. The evidence is clear. It's a sturdy fatty acid that gets integrated into our cell membranes and serves as an armor for our cells to keep them healthy and protected. Studies support that C15 protects cells against premature breakdown. So this nutrient would most definitely aid in the process of aging signs showing up. Why not slow that down and feel your best? There's endless ways to feel our best while slowing the aging process down to a gracefully sustainable evolution. There are simple ways that we can eat the best foods we have access to that support vitality of the entire bodily system as a whole, boosting internal detox mechanisms, nourishing with increased supportive nutrients, and even rebuilding new healthy tissues are all possible with certain foods. I'm going to touch on a few of these foods. And one, you may be surprised, is onion. Yes, onions are eaten for longevity. Years of research done on over 8,500 centenarians found that most were eating onions on a daily. That was something that they shared in common. This was one aspect of the diets that this group shared, that almost all of them were eating onions on a daily. These were, people living over 100 years old, pretty healthy, right? I mean, obviously we're healthier than someone that's like 70 or 80 that, ends up leaving the world because of health issues. Onions have a strong, vital life force. They can uptake and create minerals more than any other food, making them a mineralizer. Onions contain as much C as an orange of similar size without the sugar. Also rich in A, Bs, sulfur, quercetin, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, iron, silica, fiber, as well as quality protein. This means you're thinking onions, protein, what? That the high ratio of milligrams of aminos that the onion contains, or let's just say onions, to the milligrams of protein. Okay, the ratio there means that it's got something going on, and the aminos is really the key part. So onions, there's a lot of different kinds of onions, and we're talking about all of them. Okay, I'm not comparing different ones, but always choose organic for the most nutrient-rich bioavailability. Sulfur-rich foods like onions are so important for beauty inside and out. Known in the highest order for its ability to cleanse the liver and skin, oxygenate the blood, has antiseptic properties, and helps to build all the connective tissues in the body. Okay, and onions are very sulfur rich, as are radishes and garlic, and those are the two that are coming to my mind right now, but there's other sulfur-rich vegetables. Very, very good to eat. Over 5,000 years ago, onions grew in the earliest of Chinese gardens, also by Sumerians. Ancient Greeks used as medicine and to aid in the Olympic Games for the body. Mentioned in ancient Vedic literature. The Bible mentions onion. I think it was in Numbers. And the Egyptians worshipped as a symbol of the universe. Pre-industrial age societies were most definitely eating organically grown We know that. We know that. We can all agree on that. So they were getting some pretty good benefits, obviously, because it's in the literature. The mentioning of onions goes way back. So there's so much more research on this, but you get the drift. Okay. And I posted a beautiful Kirlian image of an onion. Kirlian photography is where it measures the light frequency of the image, and you get beautiful colors, and it's almost like sacred geometry, and you get like this just amazing, like you can just see like the vibration and like just how powerful that it is. And so I found a Kirlian image of an onion. It's purple and it has like this flower like thing inside. It's beautiful. And I posted it on my blog here. So I just had to mention that. Our skin shows our health. Okay. We can agree on that. What we consume radiates this barrier organ that shields us from the outer world. Yet we often forget that the skin is the largest of all organs and must be cared for as such. What we let touch our skin will penetrate into our cells beneath, as what we consume internally will also reflect on our skin, showing up as a healthy, clear, glowing complexion, or the opposite. If we are detoxing heavy loads of irritants that cannot escape by another passageway, then we're going to have skin issues, right? So care for this part of self begins with a clean internal system and external environment. Nourishing thyself with beauty foods rich in minerals like sulfur and silica, also the antioxidant vitamins A, C, and E, known as the ACE vitamins, that are the richest in the antioxidant group of our vitamins, are a great way to feel better while slowing the aging process down some. Our supple skin was made of abundant collagen, the long-living protein that also breaks down from free radical damage. This collagen protein gets lost over the years, starting as early as age 30. Vitamin C is a key building block for our collagen synthesis. So remembering to get plenty on the daily is vital for plump, glowing skin health. Also, antioxidants are keys to fighting free radicals that scavenge around constantly from unavoidable pollution. This exposure over time leads to hidden inflammation, resulting in wrinkles and damaged skin. So just being aware of our environment, if we need an air purifier, depending on where we live, making sure we're drinking the cleanest water, watching the air that we're breathing. If we live in a city, we should definitely, or by a street, or if there's a fire outside or whatever's going on, it's good to have an air purifier and to keep that filter cleaned out. Check your filters in your furnace, your central heat, keep those clean, keep the air that you're breathing clean. That will like help your liver to be cleaner. And I just want to mention, while we're talking about keeping our bodies clean, doing a detox, doing intermittent fasting daily, which is not eating, giving your body a break for 14 to 16 hours a day, and just drinking water during that time, or sleeping. Obviously, you're sleeping a big portion of that as well. So I know it's very hard to do. I think the hardest part is when you get up in the morning and you want to make that cup of coffee with your creamer, and some experts say that you can have your coffee. Coffee is like water, or it's like tea, or it's just as long as you don't put the cream or the sugar in it, it'll be okay for your intermittent fast. I don't know. I'd have to research this a little bit more now, but I think it's probably not the best. I think you probably want to just drink, a little lemon water, warm lemon water when you get up. I think some herbal teas would be better, but not doing the caffeine and the acidity of coffee during that fast. And then when it gets closer to the time where you can eat, depending on how many hours it's been, maybe like at 10 or 11 a.m., you can have that, latte or whatever you're used to having. So I'm going to try to get better at that because I feel like I'm doing the intermittent fasting part, except I want to have, not daily, but almost every day, I'd like to make a little bit of coffee. I usually just have a half a cup, some days a cup, with my vegan creamer of choice. So I do want to get better at that because I feel like it is affecting my health, and it would be best to try to wait just a few more hours before I delve into that. And so, doing that, giving your body a break, it really helps with cellular health and helps your body to be able to rejuvenate, detox, and will definitely help with the aging process. Also, doing a deeper cleanse or fast once or twice a year for 3 to 5 days is also a very, very good idea. Making sure that your body is well hydrated with quality, pure water, healthy essential fats, avoiding smoke, and too much sun will also help the process. Thank you so much. That's all I have for today. This is part 1 of Aging Gracefully. And next week, I will talk more about pain, wrinkles, and our choices for what's next. Have a beautiful week. These are challenging times for sure. Let's stick together. Keep informed. Don't have your head in the sand right now. It's not the time. And I love you, and I'd really appreciate it if you could give me that review. I'm trying to build this podcast and keep it going. Peace.
Friday night putting them plays in, but it feel like a special occasion. So let's go out, go blazing, hit the dance floor, let go frustrations. I might have a hidden agenda, but my intention's pure. I'll give you all that I got, and I hope that you don't need more.
Thank you all so very much for listening today. I genuinely hope that you learned something, and I invite you to join me each week so you never miss a conscious wellness beat. This podcast holds a special place in my heart dedicated to my evolution here, my passionate mission to spread more consciousness for the much needed wellness on Earth. Come join me as a guest as well. Let's collaborate, making change for future generations.